Hi, my name is Adam Aiman bin Yazrul Anwar. So the first one I will start with the first slide. So what is sports policy? Sport policy is an outline of the direction a sport should take according to a maker of a policy. Policies are developed by national government and sports organisation in order to guide sports in some desired direction. A sport organisation policy or government policy related to sports can therefore have a significant impact on the governance of the organisation. Policy is akin to strategy, and as you can see, policy refer broadly to a set of action designed to address an issue or achieve specific outcomes. Policy also have a wide ramification and are formal expression of an organization's standing decision. Policies are different from objective, strategies, procedure, and philosophy. Policies are also different goals, objective, and tactics. Policies are developed by national governments and sports organizations in order to guide sports in some desired direction, as I say at the first one. And the last one is sport organization requires policy in the areas of finance, human resource, facilities use and control, equipment, travel, public relation, promotion, and other items related to managing risk. So this is what is sports policies. So next we are going to see the second slide. So there are three sport-related policies in Malaysia. The first one is National Youth Development Policies 1997. The second one is Executive Summary Malaysian Youth Policy, and the last one is National Sports Policy 1988 and 2009. So the second slide is sport-related policies in Malaysia. So the first one is National Youth Development Policies 1997. So for the introduction, just youth constitute a resource of tremendous potential, and they can contribute significantly to the overall development of the nation. And the ability to harness the potential of youth will determine our strength and resilience in pursuing social, economics, and politics and development. So the objective of this National Youth Development Policy is to establish a holistic and harmonious Malaysian youth force imbued with strong spiritual and moral values, who are responsible, independent, and patriotic, thus serving as a stimulus to the development and prosperity of the nation in consonance with the Vision 2020. So the next slide is the 7 strategies that have been made in this National Youth Development Policy. So the first one is knowledge development. Knowledge development is effort will be geared towards enhancing the knowledge base in various subjects, enhancing functioning as a foundation for the competence of youth. The second one is attitudinal development. As a response and future challenge, effort will focus on the inculcation of moral values and the development of a positive and creative attitudes. The third one is vocational and entrepreneurial development. To equip youth with state-of-art technical knowledge and vocational skills, as well as involving them in entrepreneurial activities in line with the demands of national building. Number 4 is inculcation of health lifestyles. Youth are encouraged to engage in social and voluntary activities that lead to a healthy, active, and dynamic lifestyles. These lifestyles will nurture our youth into responsible leader of high caliber. Number 5 is facilities for social interaction. So to upgrade relevant facilities that contribute towards promoting healthy interaction and social activities among youth and communities. Number 6 is partnership in development, to utilize partnership and cooperation amongst government agencies, NGOs, and the private sector for the benefits to youth development. And the last one of this strategy is internationalization and networking, to encourage youth to further promote closer ties and international networking with international communities. So the conclusion of these strategies of this national youth development, the conclusion is the national youth development policy serve as a guide to enable all parties to plan and undertake programs that galvanize efforts in youth development. So this is the last slide for strategies. So the second of sport related policies in Malaysia is Executive Summary Malaysian youth policies. The first one is increase the involvement of youth as responsible citizens in the initiative at the national, regional and international levels. Number 2 is highlight the potential of each individual youth with celebrating everyone's diversity and difference. And the last one is expand the access to priority areas and youth development initiative for the benefits of all targets. So the next slide is there are 4 concepts of Malaysian youth policy. The first one is age limit, which is equivalent to the international standard. Second one is holistic and based on the federal constitution and Rukun Negara. The third one is futuristic, relevant and up to date. And the last one is across implement and generation. So the last slide for me is sport related act in Malaysia. There are 7 sport related act in Malaysia, and the first one is the Sports Development Act, was passed by Parliament and gazetted on 25 September 1997. The second one is National Sport Council of Malaysia Act 1971. The third one is Youth Societies and Youth Development Act 2007. Banana Stadium Malaysia Act 2010. Martial Arts Societies Act 1976. Sport Development Act 1997. And the last one is National Sports Institute Act 2011. So that was the last for me in the introduction. So I will pass the microphone to Nur Azira to present next slides. So thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum, I'm Nur Azira Anwar. So now I'll be explaining about the National Sport Policy 1988 before it being revoked in 2009. So what is National Sport Policy is? National Sport Policy being introduced back in 1988 January 20 in the Malaysian 5th Development Plans. So we can see here that the government sees sport as one of the important part of Malaysian society. So, why sport? Sport is an effective agent of unity for all levels of society. Malaysia is among one of the country where being success of unity through sport. So, and the national sport policy is involved of 2 main things, which is the high performance sport and also mass sport. So what is the high performance sport? In a simple way, high performance sport is more likely for a competition of national or international where the elite or professional athletes are playing under rules and regulation of international federation and Olympic Committee. So that is the high performance sport. What is the mass sport? The mass sport is more likely of a sport or physical activity or physical recreational which is spontaneous or even organized for the aim of the greater participation rather than the competition. So that is the national sport policy. In the next slide, we will talk about the objective of national sport policy. So now we take a look at the objective of National Sport Policy 1988. Before we go further, we must know the aim of this policy. So what is the aim of the policy 1988? The aim is to develop an active, healthy and fit society through sport and physical recreational activities. For example, I can give just a few days ago, we just celebrate our National Sport Day. In this celebration, there are a lot of activities being held. It's not only for professional, but for the communities as well. So, from this example, we can see here that we are moving forward for the aim of the sport policy. By achieving this aim, there are a lot of benefits that we can get, such as the number of cases, the disease cases can be lowered down. For example, the obesity. So that is the aim of the national sport policy. So now we move forward to the objective. There are 4 objectives in the national sport policy. The first one is to develop a healthy, disciplined and also united society. The second one is to provide an opportunities and also facilities. The third one is to develop and improve the knowledge and also sport practice. And the last one, which is number 4, is to achieve excellence in the highest level in the true spirit of sportsmanship. So this 4 is the objective of National Sport Policy 1988. As we can see here, 3 out of 4 is sport for all. The first objective is to strengthen the culture of participation in sport among the people. In order to do this, there are a lot of people who need to step in. The first one is Ministry of Youth and Sport, where they are responsible to attract people into sport by the Sport for All. Secondly is the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education can promote sport to the student in either secondary or primary school through PJPK subject. Thirdly, the Ministry of Higher Education. They need to step in to make people to make the student normalize the culture of sport. So all of this, they need to volunteer to promote the sport in order to achieve the first objective. The second objective is to enhance the knowledge and practice of sport in order to create a culture among the people. So, when we want to create a culture, here we need a mass media. Mass media became an agent to spread the news. Secondly is the Ministry of Youth and Sport should provide expertise in administration, in coaching for sport for all. Second is Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education should strengthen the curriculum where the student need to know at least the basic of sports such as track and field into their physical education syllabus. And lastly, the Ministry of Higher Education, they should make a sport activity as a discipline in the institution such as subject of HBU. The third objective is to promote greater participation in sport activities at all levels in order to develop disciplined and united society. It can be said as a job opportunities. Next, to provide opportunities, incentive, and career to fulfill the basic individual needs through sport. As for the example, for athletes who have interest in furthering the study in higher level of education, the government or private sector might give them a scholarship to furthering the study. Secondly, is about the incentive. The incentive should be reviewed regularly because it might not meet the current need. Now we take a look at the fifth objective, which is to provide sport facilities to meet the needs of all levels. It's not only for the professional, we have the ISN, MSN. We also have for a normal community such as the KSK, Complex Sukan community. And also there are a lot of free parks for children to play and for people just go for recreational activities. The sixth objective is to strengthen the sport bodies and association with the professional governance practice. It's mean like the association should be led by someone who have an expertise in that area. For example, someone who have expertise in management, someone who has expertise in coaching, physiological, psychological. The second last objective is to develop sport into an industry. Sport can be developed into industry because most of the sport require an equipment or also services. Services such as the physiotherapy, psychologists, or coaching. The last objective of this policy is to achieve excellence in international or national level in the true spirit of sportsmanship. So in this objective, the association that are needed is from the lower to the highest one. From the Ministry of Education that need to promote sport for the primary and secondary school, the Ministry of Higher Education to expose the student more to the sport. The Ministry of Youth and Sport especially need to promote more sport in the healthy lifestyle or also as a career of the job. And for the association and bodies also need to provide a correct facilities with a good equipment so that the athletes can boost up their limit. That's all for 8 objective of National Sport Policy 2009.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adeli Mehmet Fazil. Today I am going to present about National Sport Convention Langkawi 1996. This is about National Sport Convention that been held at Langkawi in 1996. So this convention was officiated by our former Prime Minister, that is Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, on 11 April 1996. The purpose of the convention is to reform and improve for sport in Malaysia. Tun Dr. Mahathir itself believe this convention do the reform, as many sport international are coming to this convention to discuss the resolution. In Malaysia, the success in organizing the race lead to the Langkawi in 1996 was a turning point in the government's focus on the development of the sport tourism sector. Among this resolution, the roles of the OCM, that is Olympic Council of Malaysia, and National Sport Organisation, the roles of the public and private sectors in Malaysia sports, and issues related to sport facilities, science and technology in developing of sports. So from this convention, we can see that the content of the discussion will be bring forward and it put into the Sport Development Act 1997. We can see the successful from this convention that can bring up the sport development in Malaysia. The second thing that I will cover is Malaysian National Education Philosophy. 1979. This philosophy is an ongoing effort towards further developing potential of individual, that is student, in integrated and holistic manners. By this philosophy is to produce students who are intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced. Sport offer a lot of things in education for students. Students can be developed by their physical and their moral quality and also moral values. We can unite various races in Malaysia in sports, which means that in sport, the student can get good communication and fun with their friends, even their friends have different races and different religion. Next, we'll be talking about the entity or the unit that match Malaysian National Education Philosophy 1979. First of all is MSSM, stand for Majlis Sukan Sekolah-Sekolah Malaysia. That is participated by the primary and secondary students from Malaysia. First, MSSM is established in 1968. The mission is to produce high potential athletes through domestic and international sporting programs. Involve 24 sports such as football, golf, tennis, rugby, basketball, gymnastics, cricket, chess, softball, volleyball, archery, badminton, sailing, and many more. Second is MASUM, that is Majlis Sukan University Malaysia, that will participate by the university student in Malaysia. MASUMs began in 1974 on the initiative of university sport officials at the time to hold sports competition among local university staff. In the year 1975, a sport event has organized among university students until today. The last is sport schools. The most famous example is Bukit Jalil Sports School, as known as SSBJ, that is established on 1996 in Kuala Lumpur. For this slide, I will explain about the one student, one sport policy that match the Malaysian National Education Philosophy 1979. One student, one sport policy, as known as satu murid, satu sukan, required that every student participate at least a sport activity in the school. This policy support the implementation of the National Philosophy of Education, focusing on producing intellectually, spiritually, emotionally balanced people or students and physicals. This policy is in line with the National Sport Policy that emphasizes sport for all and sport for excellence. This policy gives students great attention who are less active, so they are involved in sport activities. At the same time, potential student talent will be polished and developed through the sport of high performance or in sport schools like SSBJ that I mentioned previously. This slide shows the objective of one student, one sport policy. The first one is increase physical fitness for the student, especially the inactive students. The second is establishing a person's personality, identity, disciplines, and values. The third one is to unite the people, especially students with various religions and races, especially in the national schools. The fourth is developing a sport culture among students. For example, the school inviting a coach or a veteran player of a sport, introducing the sport to the student for exposure about the sports. The next is provide a balance between academic and physical needs. As the Malaysian phrase sounds like badan cergas, minda cerdas. That means if your body is fit enough, the brain and the mind will be balanced, healthy. And the last one is creating a foundation for sport excellence. For previous, I mentioned about SSBJ, Bukit Jalil Sports Schools, and for other examples is the school project like SMK Zaaba in Negeri Sembilan is chosen for a school project for football. Okay, that's all for me. I will pass the presentation to Lokman Habidi to present to you guys.
Thank you to the previous presenter. Now, I will continue this presentation with next topic, Malaysian National Youth 1985. Before I continue this presentation, we need to know that youth can be defined as pupil aged between 15 and 40 years. It stipulates further than the main focus of youth development programs and activities in the country should be young people aged 18 to 25 years. This policy was formulated by Datuk Dr. Sulaiman Haji Daud, which is the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport. Until the 1997, it was renamed to the National Youth Development Policy. So, National Youth Policy recognized youth as a resource with tremendous potential to contribute to the overall development of the country. And it had the following principle. Number one, to uphold the principles of Rukun Negara. Number two, to uphold the spirit of solidarity, volunteerism and autonomy. Number three, to develop leadership qualities. Number four, to encourage participation in the decision-making process at all levels. Number five, to develop high moral values and awareness of the importance of personal health and fitness. And the last one, to acquire broad knowledge in all relevant fields. So, the importance of these policies such as to guide the national youth movement, to develop the social economic status of youth, strengthen the national unity and security, and the last one, to produce patriotic youth. Next, we will go to National Youth Development Policy 1997. The National Youth Development Policy was officially launched by the then Minister of Youth and Sport on 8 December 1997. This policy includes 7 strategies. Number 1, enhancement of the knowledge base in various subjects to develop the competence of youth. Number 2, inculcation of moral value and development of a positive and creative attitude in youth. Number 3, equipping youth with state-of-art technical knowledge and vocational skills, as well as involving them in entrepreneurial activities in line with the demand of national building. Number 4, engagement of youth in societal and voluntary activities that lead to a healthy, active and dynamic lifestyle that will nurture youth into responsible leader of high caliber. Number 5, encouragement of partnership and cooperation amongst government agency, NGOs and the private sector for the benefit of youth development. And the last one, encouragement of youth to further promote closer ties and international networking with international communities. And then the National Youth Development Policy also identify an action plan to achieve its task goal. The plan has 8 main steps. Number 1, to provide knowledge-based training programs jointly organized by public sector agencies, youth organisation, NGOs and the private sector. Number 2, to strengthen the leadership and self-development programs that can further develop self-sustaining familial, religious and social institutions, thus enhancing the efficiency of roles played by youth. And then number 3, to upgrade skills development training and to create entrepreneurial and commercial opportunities that will propel youth to become independent, competent and capable of pursuing successful careers. Number 4, to empower youth organization so that they capture the interest, commitment and enthusiasm of young people and activities planned by the society. Number 5, to provide opportunities and facilities for the self-development of young people in social and economic function. Number 6, to enhance the spirit of volunteerism and patriotism through voluntary social work. Number 7, to ensure the understanding of youth in matter of globalization, the importance of international networking and partnership with governmental agencies, NGOs and the private sector. And the last one, to provide the necessary infrastructure and mechanism for youth activity relating to the research, assessment and evaluation. Next, we will continue to Malaysian Youth Policy 2015. The objective of this policy is strengthen and highlight the ability of youth human capital as a motor of the country's strategic development, guided by the Democratic Federation and the Nation Foundation. Number 2, educate youth participation as active citizens in country, regional and international initiative. Number 3, acknowledge the potential of each individual young person by celebrating their individuality and diversity. And the last one, expanding access to focus area and program for youth growth to benefit of all audience group. Okay, now we focus to the next topic, sport tourism. Okay, sport tourism is someone who travels with a reason to observe as a spectator or participate sporting event away from home. Sport tourism has the potential to become a tourism product which can yield high economic returns to the country. The presence of large audience and the involvement of domestic and international participants in sporting events have contributed to the national income. The earning from tourism has increased continuously each year. Sport tourism can thus contribute to the development of a country, and a small and developing country with limited natural resources has the potential to be developed as a location for organizing world-class sport event if it is able to utilize these resources to construct the necessary infrastructure and the supporting service. In addition to organizing events like the Commonwealth Games, Ritual di Langkawi, Formula 1 and Monsoon Cup, Malaysia also post the sport facility which is among the best in the world. For example, the Bukit Jalil Sport Complex, also we can known as the site of the High Performance Training Center. With such facility, Malaysia has successfully attracted the attention of several countries and well-known teams to use such facilities for the final phase of their preparation before participating in competition. For the Minister of Culture, Art and Tourism, Department of Tourism was first set up under the Ministry of Trade of Malaysia in 1959. The inclusion of the principal objective of tourism into the country's second Malaysia Plan 1971 till 1975 further emphasis of the role of tourism in the economy. And in the early 1980s, government support for tourism continue with the establishment of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in 1987. The objective of this ministry establishment is to strengthening the nation identity, and then enhancing synergies and cooperation between tourism and culture sectors to make Malaysia a destination of choice. And the last one, to promote the uniqueness of nation arts, culture and heritage, including tourism products as the main catalyst for the growth of the country tourism and culture sector. And then for the Malaysian Board, Malaysian Tourism Promotion Board Act 1992, also known as Tourism Malaysia. Its full focus is on promoting Malaysia domestically and internationally. The Tourist Development Corporation of Malaysia was established on 10 August 1972 as an agency under the former Ministry of Trade and Industry by an Act of Parliament. With the inception of the Ministry of Cultures, Art and Tourism on 20 May 1887, it was moved to this new ministry and became the Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board. There are several objectives of this agency, such as promote Malaysia as an outstanding tourist destination, show Malaysia unique wonders, attraction and cultures, enhance Malaysia share market for meetings, incentive, convention and exhibition, and increase Malaysia tourism revenue by increasing tourist numbers to Malaysia and extend their length of stay. Okay, as we can see, this is sport event hosted by Malaysia such as Kuala Lumpur SEA Games 2017, Shell Malaysia Motorcycle Grand Prix, Lee Tour di Langkawi, and many others. So there are several advantages of sport as a tourism attraction. Number one, duration of the hosting. For example, the Olympic Games in Beijing was held over 16 days with the opening ceremony on August 8, 2008 and the closing on 24 August 2008. A total of 10,000 athletes from 204 countries compete in the Beijing Olympics. The Olympics tournament is held on every 4 years. In Malaysia, there are in particular several popular sporting events such as Sukma, MSSM, Masum and others. Okay, number 2, yearly preparation before the tournament. Before a sports tournament is held in each other state or country, the host will carry out specific preparation in terms of preparing the sport facilities, accommodation, stadium maintenance, logistics and many other tasks. Well-maintained and adequate infrastructure facilities are essential to ensure that every event is run flawlessly. For example, most of the countries which participate in Sukhum 98 were very satisfied with the quality of the organisation shown by Malaysia. And failure to carry out proper preparation will degrade the reputation of the host country and decrease the confidence in organising other tournaments in the future. Number 3, media coverage. The print and electronic media are the key pillars in the promotion of the tournament to be held. The mass media plays a role in carrying out advertising and promotion before the tournament begins. The information related to sporting events can be accessed via websites, blogs, and government websites such as Tourism Malaysia, Ministry of Youth and Sport, and the official website of the ongoing tournament. The website has become an important combination for the tourists and effective distribution channel for tourism operators and related service providers. Number 4, sponsorship. Every sports competition, without exception, requires sponsorship and promotion through advertisement to raise funds and attract incoming spectators to watch the competition. There are a number of official sponsors such as media broadcasting, fitness drinks, telecommunication companies, and others. Moreover, the primary sponsors are both to the government and organization. They are directly involved in the success of a sporting event to be held. For example, the organization of prestigious sporting event, for instance, the Formula One Championship, secures a lot of sponsorship from leading car companies such as Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari, BMW, and others. In the broadcasting domain, it is a tradition for Astro, RTM, and TV3 to be the official sponsor for the television channel covering the live broadcast of a sporting tournament in progress. And the last one, individual involved. In organizing a sporting event, the athletes, team managers, coaches, team officials, and spectators have to be considered. For each ongoing tournament, the athletes are the most prominent individuals involved in the events. Huge sporting events such as the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, and the World Cup Soccer undoubtedly involve a large number of the competitors. The total number of athletes or players, team official, coaches, and the team managers are estimated to exceed the thousands of people. Besides that, the spectators at the ongoing tournament venues exceed tens of thousands of people. The involvement of all the parties at each competition venue can be classified as sport tourists. Sports is a tourism product that provides the largest contribution to the local economy as well as stimulate the growth of the national economy. Besides that, the infrastructure facilities such as in communication, accommodation, and telecommunication are also improved.
The case study that we'll talk about is equality in sport. We got this article from The Star, April 2021. In this article, it expressed that there are discrimination between students and sport. The students are being divided to play the sport not based on their preference but based on their race. For example, Malay male students need to play football while the Chinese need to play basketball. So we can see here it's not on their preference but based on the races. So the Minister of Education expressed his sadness, saying that let them play together. He also stated that when we are cheering for our athletes in Olympic, we are not looking at what race they are, but we look up as they are Malaysian. So, based on what we learned before, the National Sport Policy objective, even in 1988, they are stated to develop a healthy, disciplined, and united society. The united society means that we are not look forward about the race and religion, but we can go together as a Malaysian. So that is for our case study.
The next case study number 2 is sport tourism. From the title, from the journal title, sport tourism has significant economic potential. So sport tourism has become the popular subsector in the tourism industry today. Tourism and sports exist as two distinct areas of activities, but the success in organization the World Conference on Sport Tourism in Barcelona, Spain 2001 has resulted in more serious attention being paid to this sector. So this study examines the development of sport tourism in Malaysia. It was found the success in organizing the race Le Tour de Langkawi in 1996 was a turning point in the government focus on development of the sport tourism sector. Currently, Malaysia is known for organising several world-class sports events among the Royal Langkawi International Regatta, Ironman Triathlon, Formula One Grand Prix Malaysia, FEI Show Jumping World Cup, Petronas Premax 3 Merdeka Millennium Endurance Race, Super GT, Malaysia Motorcycle Grand Prix, A1GP Malaysia, and Monsoon Cup on December. All these world-class sporting events bring substantial returns to the society and the economy. The strength of sports as a tourism attraction includes the length of time in which the event takes place, extensive publicity coverage through the print and electronic media, sponsorship from various domestic and multinational companies, and business opportunity provided to local residents during the event. So, the successful organisation of the Commonwealth Games, SUKOM 98, in Kuala Lumpur in 1998 was an eye-opener as it highlighted the value of hosting international sporting event. The Commonwealth Game is the second largest sport event in the world after Olympic Games. Organizing international level sporting event undoubtedly brings many positive impact on the host country. The investment made are for long term, such as building of infrastructural facilities, improvement in the transportation system, upgrading the quality of service from the public and private sector, the opportunity to market their products and the name of the country, and finally very valuable promotion through the international media. The popularity of sporting events such as Olympics Games, World Cup football, and Formula One racing series F1, which are capable of attracting a large number of visitors, attest to the fact that sports tourism is the gold mine if it is properly managed. So that was for study case number 2, and also the last slide for today. So thank you for lending me your ears. I hope you guys understand or understand what we are present, and I hope